Hello everybody, welcome back to another Ender SMP video. Today I am going to be showing you guys the completed iron farm. It's taken quite a bit and it's still not technically complete. It's about halfway complete. But the infrastructure and everything else is there. Just half of the cells don't work and half of the cells need villagers. But the other half of the cells do work and are completely functional. So I'm starting the video right here in our storage area for all the iron. Now this is, I think, overkill for any amount of iron we're going to have in here, since this farm has been running for about probably 4 or 5 days, and we have about 1.5 double chest full. That's just a marker to see how much we have at that moment. But that's it. That's all we have. There's no more iron in here at all. And same goes for everything else, sir. But that does not mean that we are preparing to run this thing for a very long period of time. So we're actually planning to run this thing for so long that we need infrastructure to tell us when we're going to run out of a double chest of stacked shulker boxes after they're done filling. And it's gonna be pretty crazy. So we're gonna run this probably 24/7 on the server. Whenever the server's up, this is going to be running in the background. It doesn't take that much MSPT up, and it's really lag friendly, honestly. So this will constantly be running in the background of anything we do. So basically, how this works is we have down here we have a 3x3 bedrock hole that I broke this morning, actually. And if we go to free cam here, and we can come down here. Oh. Come down here, we see that we have glass, we have some bedrock, some obsidian, some more obsidian, and a sliced portal. I would love to slice these top 3 bedrock or obsidian blocks, but I cannot because there's bedrock in the way, and I cannot fit an updated suppressor arm right through here, which does kind of suck. But yeah, here's the bedrock or the updated suppressor arm we were using, and we cannot put that right up here to break those bedrock or obsidian. I would definitely 100% do it if I could, because it would make this thing look so much better, where you could just look down and see the iron golems falling out of this. You also get a sneak peek at some of the redstone down here. But yes, we have a 3x3 hole here. Here we have the light to show if the redstone underneath the bedrock is working correctly. Here we have a light indicating if the chunk loading is on. Here we have a light indicating if the farm is working. Here we have a light indicating if there are enough shulker boxes down in the system below. And at every one of these chests we have a light indicating if they've completely filled up. So once this entire row fills up with this many shulker boxes of iron blocks, that little light will turn on, and we'll understand that that is, or we'll know that that's full. You can see the system I used for that: system comparator, observers, and a little bit of redstone. But yeah. So the leaves obviously in the Nether don't look too good, but I did take some time out of my day to design a pretty nice looking storage room. I like to think that this room is really stunning, beautiful, whatever. It's really nice for the iron storage. I don't really particularly like how we have this the seal entrance going around the outside, but I guess it's whatever. It provides a little bit of kind of what's in here, which is fine. So yeah, I can show you guys the outside. So the outside is really messy, but it does look quite interesting, actually. So here we have the circuit that turns off the entire system if it runs out of shulker boxes, which is being read from this chest. So once this chest runs out of items, when there's no more shulker boxes to be put into the system, it pauses the switch and it turns it off so that the whole thing stops running, and then it will reset it when it's done. That took a good 3 hours of work, just because I didn't understand the logic, mostly. But yeah, that's not supposed to be like that. And you can see some of the wiring for the chunk loading. And we also have dropper towers that come from the bottom here, that come from the redstone. Actually, I'll show off the redstone right now. So when the iron golems come through, they trip off this tripwire, which will activate this clock here, which just is like a pulse extender, a really long pulse extender. And that will turn on this clock here. It's a pretty long clock, but it does the job. and that every time that clock pulses, it will send an output down here. It'll fire these pistons that will push all the iron in the middle down into here. Then this conveyor belt will carry it down and then shuffle it into the 6 item filters that will filter out the iron. The poppies get destroyed in the fire, and the iron gets automatically crafted into blocks, loaded up into a shulker. Then the shulker will get broken and pushed all the way up into the storage system, which is all the way up here. We also have a system in place so that if the shulker box is down here, actually let me go in spectator /CS. So down here we have this. So this right here, once these shulker boxes that are in here, it's just about a stack and a half that run in here. But once that completely runs out or drops below a certain threshold, it will activate this, which will activate an observer line, which will trigger a line up here, this one, which will turn off this torch and unlock that hopper, which will allow us to pull shulkers out of here. And when the shulker box down here, or when the dropper fills up with enough shulker boxes, it will send another signal back up and lock that hopper again, so we only take a certain amount of shulker boxes out of here at a time. So it's a pretty good system. It could probably be tweaked a bit. I just finished this about an hour ago. But yeah, so that's all the lines we have coming up. We also have another line for the redstone. We just detect that with the wire coming off of the clock. Yeah. Up at the top of the nether, we have a chunk loader. This is a chunk loader designed by Omango, so there's a minecart that just goes in and out continuously. This is another side, so we can detect if it's on or off with a pulse extender. This pulse extender, just when it's on, it'll send a signal down and it'll illuminate those lights. And when it is off, it turns them off. We also have another line here which turns the whole thing on and off. And this system is not finalized, definitely for the nether side, or for the overworld and nether, I guess. But when you press the button to turn it on, it'll send a signal up here, and it will activate this dropper, and it'll spit out an iron nugget. We've only used like a couple from testing, so we're really not going to be turning this thing on and off too much, so we really don't need that much. Honestly, on the overworld side, there's only storage for about like maybe 14 stacks of items until it breaks, but it's pretty smart. So I guess I should show off the overworld side now. So if we go through this portal, this is going to lead us to the portal that will lead us to the iron farm in the overworld, obviously. Oh, there's a magma cream here. How wonderful. Okay, we're just going to ignore him and pretend like he does not exist. Alright, so here we have the iron farm itself. We have these huge, we have a 6 tall iron farm, 6 layer tall. So we have the pillager in the middle, and he'll get the block raised above his head. He'll scare the 6 packs of villagers, and they will all spawn an iron golem at the exact same tick on this platform, and they will immediately get teleported to the nether. And we have that on all 6 of these, so we get 36 iron golems through one portal at a time. Over here we have the other side, which is not completed. I believe all the pillagers are in place, yeah, but there's no villagers yet, so we need to activate the villager breeder and push all those into place. The perimeter we made, digging down to about here with hand. You can see the marks. And then we flooded the sides with water, and we used TNT bombers. We will probably end up doing some art here, but because the server's relatively slow and there's not too many people online all the time, it's mainly just only a couple of people playing on and off every so often. Really, really inactive. So this doesn't really get much activity. So I'm probably going to be the main person working on getting a floor here sometime this year. But once we do get a floor, and it'll get looking pretty nice. And yeah. So here we have the line for the chunk loader. This one is the chunk loader in the overworld, obviously. So once this line turns off, it will activate this, which will start the chunk loading, and I'll show that off in a little bit. But here's the system that detects when we want to turn it on and off. So you can see we only have 9 tests already done. So basically, when you when you activate that dropper that was on the nether side, it'll send an item through here. It'll fall into this hopper. The hopper will then detect that, and it will send a signal down, and it will turn on or off the whole system, depending on what it is. So basically, it's just a T flip-flop. And when you put one item in, does it. When you put another item in, does it. and so on and so forth. But it's pretty smooth for the most part, as I've seen. There's some rail lines here that carry the signal, so these just carry down here to the daylight sensors and turn them on and off. I probably honestly could have moved these all the way up here and saved myself a lot of work, but I wanted to have the feature where if you were right here by the Nether portal, that you could turn the farm on and off, and it looks like this is actually kind of broken now that I say that out loud, because the light is on and the farm is not running, so great. But we'll get to that in a minute, I guess. So, yeah. So, I think I'm going to turn the iron farm on from the nether side because it's a little bit less reliable, actually, but it'll still has the same effect. Alright. And it's, showing off that it does work. So, what we'll see is once we tap that note block, this light will turn on in about maybe 10 to 15 seconds, and then this light will turn on shortly after that one. So, yeah, here we go. Go. We will see iron golems come through right now, and that light will turn on right now, and we can see the iron golems dying. It's a little quiet. It's kind of on purpose. Once they die, iron gets pushed in the middle, and it does take a minute for it to go through because we only have the clocks so often. It's sorted, and I can't click on it, but they are going into the shulker box. There we go. So, yeah, I mean, we still have the materials from building this today, so it's not, 100% cleaned up and done yet, but we're probably going to keep that here until we do the shell on the outside. I don't know what we're going to do for the outside, really. We might just do, like, a little dome, like a golf dome or something, or we might just leave it as it is, honestly, because it looks kind of cool. Yeah. It's mostly spawn proof. There are some spots where magma creams tend to spawn, but most of the time they don't, because we're also loading the underworld, or the bottom of the nether. But, yeah. So basically, we're just going to leave this running 24/7 on the server. And, yeah, so basically, once this runs out, it'll shut off the system, someone can come through, put in more shulkers, and so on. But yeah, this thing really can't break. Not as I'm aware. But if something does go wrong, it actually tells us, and it'll shut off before then. And even when it does shut off because it's low on shulkers, that's just saying it's low on shulkers. There could still be up to, a stack and a half of shulkers down here. So it's pretty nice. But yeah, I'm going to leave the Meca video for the iron farm that I took inspiration from. Not inspiration, I took the farm because it's the same exact farm. But I'll leave that in the description. And, yep. My keys are not working. Alright. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.